Good morning and welcome back to another Bali COVID-19 update. And this is my no-name channel and I'm Bruce Pullman. And it's been a long time since my last one, I think September 13th. And today is September 29th, 2020. So what have I been doing since then? I took a trip and the video of the trip, in case you haven't seen it, is up here. And I wanted to see what was going on in Kintamani and Ubud, and well, it was interesting. Take a look at the video if you haven't seen it. And so what about today? Today, numbers, of course, coming first. Second, Jokowi orders a vaccination plan promptly within the next 2 weeks. And the head of the COVID-19 task force, the national task force, says that the virus is going to stay with us and we need to be more disciplined. And after that, we're going to see about how that works out. And so, Bali opening, there's some interesting things going on, about 4,400 people being invited to wander around the island, and we'll talk about that. And then Tegal Dangdut concert, criticized. This is over in Java, but it's relevant to us here as well. And a Canggu salsa party, and that they were warned, the organizers of that, and more not following the rules. And then finally, a fading property market in Bali. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers. And the numbers are 107 new cases. That brings us up to 8,639 total. And 7,126 recovered. 263 deaths. Remember back when we had 2 deaths? And 1,250 active cases. And so we're still up well above the 1,000 number, and that's not good. All the new cases, Indonesian and local transmissions, the leading districts, Denpasar 32, Badung 24, and Tabanan 16. And last week, according to Jackie Pomeroy's COVID-19 Facebook page, last week the number of new cases increased by 50% over the previous week. So we're going up and down, up and down. So we're still hovering around 100 daily cases, and so that's not good. But things are still pretty much open. And you see people in restaurants, and like I said in the video, restaurants, coffee shops, bars, and some people wandering around the street. A lot of people in Canggu, not so many people in Ubud. Kuda from some of the foreigners who live here and have been doing daily videos. Kuda continues to look empty. And Singaraja is normal. Okay, and schools are still closed, and so it looks like they're going to stay closed until next year. Not good. My granddaughter's going to come home next week. We're going to do homeschooling here because I don't want her gone for another 3 or 4 months or more. Okay, so not good on the number scene. So what about Pak Jokowi? And Pak Jokowi said, President of Indonesia, for those of you that don't know, he orders the committee to get ready for vaccination, get a vaccination plan within the next 2 weeks. So he's ordered the National COVID-19 Economic Recovery Committee to come up with a final plan to distribute and vaccinate people within the next 2 weeks. And he says this should include commencement date, the locations, and who will be doing the vaccinations. He stressed that he wanted to do vaccinations as soon as they were available. And at this time, they're still not available, but he wants to be ready to go. Now, the question is, how are the vaccines going to work out? How are the vaccinations going to work out? Are people going to want to take them? Are they going to be free? Where are they going to go? Who's going to get them first? What's the priority going to be? I guess that's all what this committee is going to come up with. And the Indonesian military, the TNI, will be supporting the government regarding medical equipment and vaccine distributions. And so Pak Jokowi has been criticized lately for not doing enough, for being too hands-off on the situation and letting it get to the state that it is now. And so maybe this is a sign he's going to get more directly involved. Although, who knows? Okay, next story. Asymptomatic transmissions are an ever-present threat, according to the National COVID-19 Task Force Chief Donny Monardo. He said, quote, COVID-19 is dangerous, but the humans who carry COVID-19 are far more dangerous. He said many people have been ignoring the health protocols such as social distancing, wearing a mask, washing your hands, avoiding crowds. And he says this is because they assume that they're immune. Or, even worse, he said, that there is no such thing as COVID-19, that it's a fake. And he stressed that COVID-19 is real, it is not fabricated, it is not a conspiracy. So the conspiracy theory, this fabrication is starting to spread around in Indonesia as well. It's not just crazy Americans who are doing this, and Russians and Europeans, everybody else in the world. The people in East Asia seem to be pretty together on this still, but the conspiracy stories are beginning to spread around, and so he was very stern about this. He said this has to stop. He reiterated warning that people need to, when they engage in activities outside the home, that they need to protect themselves, because ultimately they will be harming their family, their friends, and themselves by pretending that the COVID-19 virus does not exist. He also noted that the virus is going to continue to exist, doesn't look like it's going to go away, not going to magically disappear like some world leader likes to pretend, and that people need to be vaccinated. The people that are vaccinated will be able to get through the situation. The people that are not vaccinated will not be able to. And so there we have the president of Indonesia and the head of the COVID-19 task force both saying practice social distancing, wear a mask, get with the program. And so with that, we're gonna see how this is working out in real life. But so what about the Bali opening? Indonesia is going to be offering free tours and staycations to 4,400 residents in a 7-week trial run to promote the island and test the COVID-19 protocols. Now, there's a link to the story below. This story I don't think had the numbers, but one that I read said that in order to qualify for this, you need to have 2,000 social media followers, a minimum of 2,000 social media followers. So you're going to get free tours and staycations. So I guess you get 2 days in a hotel for free. So tourism has been stopped since April, and in July, you remember that we opened up for domestic tourism. Coincidentally or not, our numbers have gone up since then. And Putu Astawa, the chief of Bali's tourism agency, said the 4,400 participants would be separated into 12 groups and given 2-night stays at resorts between the periods of October 7th and November 27th, and this is to test measures to keep tourists safe and to spread the word because, well, these are supposed to be, I guess, social media influencers. Although if you've only got 2,000 followers, and by the way, I only have about 130, you're not that big of an influencer. And they want to see how this is going to work. How are these safety protocols health protocols going to work? And what do we have here in Bali? So we have all these rules in place, right? And you remember last time I was talking about start of fines for not wearing masks. So this is being taken care of in different ways in different parts of Bali. So for example, as I mentioned in my travel video, down in Ubud, I didn't see any cops or in Bangli stopping people who weren't wearing masks. Of course, most of the Indonesians, almost all the Indonesians were wearing masks. Most of the foreigners were not. So if we're not enforcing this, how are we going to enforce all these other things? How are we making people feel safe? Now, a lot of people don't care about masks. And so, yeah, those people are going to come regardless of the situation. What about the ones that do wear masks, that do worry about whether or not there is going to be social distancing? Well, that's what this program is supposed to be about, and so we'll see how that works out. There was, according to Igusti Agung Nura, the chairman of the Indonesian Medical Association, a lot of people have been gathering on the beach and throwing parties, and this is not good. It's not helping the situation, he said. And so that's one thing. These social gatherings are still happening. And let's take a look at something close to home for our governor. Over 20 people tested positive for COVID-19 at the Bali governor residence. This was the official residence, including 4 adjuncts, 1 gardener, and the governor's wife. She is asymptomatic. She tested positive, but she's asymptomatic. She and her children are presently under quarantine. I don't know if Pak Koster is under quarantine or not. He sternly urged, right, this is hit home. So he sternly urged the public to take the virus seriously. And this is another person who said, you need to ignore conspiracy theories and the pandemic deniers. And wear a mask, maintain social distance, wash your hands regularly. This is another government official getting tired of dealing with the conspiracy theorist. And by the way, if you are one of those people, a conspiracy theorist or a pandemic denier, and you're one of the people that keeps putting these little comments, I delete them. Why do I delete them? Because this is my channel. If you want to put down unproven, baseless accusations, crazy theories, do it on your own channel. That's fine. You're just not doing it on mine. Unfortunate for Pak Koster, but his wife's asymptomatic, and so I hope that she gets better. And so we've got this situation, right, where everybody is supposed to social distance, and we're supposed to wear a mask, and government officials are supposed to be leading the way. And what happened in Tegal is in Central Java. The Tegal deputy speaker hosted a crowded Dangdut concert, flouting the new normal protocols. And he's the Legislative Council deputy speaker, and he held an open air Dangdut concert in Tegal last week. You take a look at the photo, and there was violations of the COVID-19 protocol. The concert was held to celebrate a marriage and a circumcision in his family, and thousands of people attended the concert. Social distancing was not maintained, and many in the crowd were not wearing masks. So, boy, there's some clusters coming up. A permit for the concert was applied for, but he neglected to say how many people were going to be there. He said it was for a small number of guests. But in fact, the invitation of the party apparently went out over social media. Thousands of people showed up. Once the police became aware of the size, they canceled the permit. However, they allowed the concert to go on because the South Tegal police chief said that even though the event was illegal, they were not going to disturb the event because they didn't have enough personnel available. And also, well, he didn't say this, but if you've been here long enough, you know that if they had gone in and tried to stop the concert in the middle of the concert, there would have been some problems, especially if they didn't have enough personnel. So the Tegal police chief said that the organizers have been summoned to answer questions about the incident. And additionally, he noted that no further permits are going to be issued for such events in the future. So, PAC Deputy Speaker, you ruined it for everybody. The Central Java governor called the mayor of Tegal to criticize him for allowing this event to be held. The mayor apologized. The governor said, "We need sensitivity from leaders. Events like that are limited, but not prohibited. Let us adapt. If we ignore regulations, people will act irresponsibly." So here's another call for leaders to be leaders and set an example. Unfortunately, this is another case of Indonesian leaders doing what they feel like doing. Okay, so that was over in Java. Now, over in Bali, got another incident, and this was a salsa dance party in Canggu at the Barawa Kitchen, which is a popular place to eat. Apparently, it's a food court. I've never been there. Looks nice. Food court has different stands that you can get different types of food, and the kitchen was warned this week to put an end to salsa parties or face temporary closure. They've done 2 on Sundays. And those videos of this party were widely distributed on social media, and Compass.com, Bali Express, Radar Bali, and a number of other online news sources have been highly critical of this salsa dance party that was held last Sunday, September 20th. And the news showed a large number of mostly foreigners dancing in close proximity. Like that was in the news article, in close proximity, while ignoring government guidelines, not wearing face masks, not doing social distancing. And according to the head of the Badung Regency Civil Service Police Unit, Pakatut Surya Negara, he said, "Frankly, it was Barawa Kitchen with mostly foreigners dancing. It is these foreigners who causing the locals to become sometimes disorderly. Sometimes they just walk by and do not care about wearing a mask. They're ignorant." Okay. He's getting a little irritated too. Enforcement officials noted the brazenness of foreigners who tried to debate with Balinese officials when warned about large public gatherings and the failure to wear a mask. Surya Nagara said, additionally, sometimes we are forced to debate. They insist that in their home countries they are free. Only when we threaten them with deportation do they follow the rules. So what do we get from this? Well, a couple of things. One is foreigners need to get it together. Whether or not you agree with any of this, whether you think that this is Bill Gates, there's nanobots in your brain, you're here in Indonesia. The rules are this. Doesn't make any difference what the rules are in the US, in the UK, in Russia, in Australia, in Bulgaria. The rules here are small gatherings, wearing a mask, following the health procedures. Follow them. Quit arguing with the police. You make all of us look like spoiled brats. You're in this country, obey the rules. The second thing is, I really wasn't happy with what Pak Sri Nagara said about we're doing this, we, and I'm including myself here, somehow because foreigners are misbehaving. Indonesians are going to follow us, and so we're a bad influence. Indonesians are adults. They're individuals. They can make up their own mind about what they're going to do. I saw locals there too. In the I didn't see the video. I saw some photos from there, some screenshots. It was mostly foreigners, looked like mostly foreigners, but there were also locals. Don't blame the foreigners for corrupting the Indonesian. You can blame foreigners for not following the rules and for being jerks about trying to argue about this. But don't blame foreigners for misleading Indonesians. Indonesians make up their own mind. They're not puppets. Colonial period is long gone. Give the people here some credit. Okay, and so that's that. And last story, the faded Bali property market. So there was an interesting article about the state of the Bali's real estate market, and according to Dominique Galman, CEO of Exotic Properties, he was discussing the property market, and he's been involved in this upscale properties for quite a while, and he said that it is dead right now. Nobody is buying anything. He said it's worse than after the bombings, than after the volcano. He said during past crises, prices remained relatively stable, but now with no foreigners here, Bali is a buyer's market, and so even at huge discounts of 30 to 50%, property is not moving. He further said that he believes that the market will not return to its previous state for a few years. He did see a silver lining, however. He suggested that this might be a good time for Bali to move from cheap mass tourism to more sustainable cultural tourism, whether the goal is not to increase the amount of tourists at the expense of the environment and the culture. And a local notary said that in response to this article that the market was already sluggish before this because a lot of people have been using the nominee route, and there had been a crisis because the government was a number of parts of the government were looking at taxation, financial, and regulatory authorities were looking into these illegal nominee deals for buying property. And she said people were to the point where they wanted to get out at any price. And according to her, or him, or do we use the word they, the firm, the notary firm, said that it will probably take many years for the market to recover. So, if you're thinking about buying property now, well, prices are down. I don't know. And so, that's it. This was a long one, and I won't take so long to do the next COVID-19. We'll see what's going to be happening here. I think some things may be coming up in the next week or two. And so, that's it. Stay safe. If you have a comment that makes sense, it's not some conspiracy theory, put it down below. If you like this, subscribe. take a look at some of my other videos. Next, I'm going to be doing going back to my anthropology series and doing the American development of anthropology in the U.S. And I'm going to do a trip to Lovina, maybe Thursday, maybe Saturday. I keep saying that, but life keeps getting in the way, but we have to do it before Zoe comes home next week. And so that's about it. Stay safe. Be kind to someone today. Thanks for viewing. See you next time.